Have you ever seen people selling digital products online and thought, I want to do that too, but I don't really know how? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you the exact AI system for that. I'm going to reveal all the steps inside, including the easiest way to pick a profitable niche, what type of product to create, and how to actually do it using only AI. So let's get straight into it and start with the niche. For this, I'm going to be using Claude, but not to tell me exactly what to sell because it genuinely doesn't know. Some people online say it might work, but the truth is that Claude needs a complicated setup to actually see the live sales data of products online. And if you're not a technical guy who can set that up and you just get Claude to do it for you, you'll end up with average results. Now, there are actually paid tools that have these advanced techniques already built in, and anyone can use them, tools like Everbee, Allura, and eRank. But I want to do everything for free when it comes to market research. So let's jump into Claude. And because it's not so good at reading real data about digital products, I'll simply ask which niches sell all year round on popular platforms like Etsy and Gumroad using this prompt. By the way, I put all the prompts from this video, as well as these system steps, inside a free document that you can find in the description down below. And as you can see, Claude gives me this response, which basically includes the evergreen niches on both platforms. So we have the digital planners and printables, digital art and design assets, and even things like Notion templates. Now, what I like about it is that it doesn't just suggest one niche, it also argues why it's the best and why the others might fail. For example, it says that Notion templates could fade out if people stop using that software, which just makes sense. So I'm going to go with digital art and design, but remember, this is a very big niche. We want to niche down into a specific category, but we also want to make sure it's proven to work. So what I'm going to do next is tell Claude what I chose and then ask for a list of keywords that I can search on Etsy and Gumroad to find even more sub-niches. So I'll use this prompt. And now, with what Claude gave me, I'll simply go ahead and look for a profitable sub-niche, which brings us to the next step. So first, I'm going to go to Etsy and paste in the first keyword. As you may notice, there's a big problem with that. Etsy won't tell us how many times a product was sold. So the only metric we can take into consideration is the review count, because most people only leave a review after they've already bought the thing in the first place. Now, this isn't exact, since many buyers never leave one, but it's the closest thing, the best metric we can currently get from Etsy. So now let's search all the keywords we got from Claude on Etsy. We can use the filter on the right to sort them by the number of reviews, so I'll do that. As you can see, the digital clip art bundle is selling like crazy with 21.8 thousand reviews. The digital sticker pack is second at 8.5 thousand, and digital wall art comes in around 5.8 thousand. Then the bottom half of the list is nowhere close, with printable art print at just 522 reviews and character design pack at almost 500. Now, there's an even bigger problem with that last category. Most of the images are Disney or Pokemon characters, which, as you may know, are copyrighted, so you can't legally sell them without permission from these big companies. So let's move on and look at the sixth category, which is AI-generated art print, with around 300 reviews. And these are the results we get from Etsy. Now let's check out Gumroad to see if we get any better ideas. I honestly spent a few minutes trying to find what I was looking for, but the results are pretty messy and they don't really have a common pattern like we saw with Etsy. So when I was searching for something, I was getting literally anything, from Procreate brushes to truck mods and furry emotes all mixed together. So I'm going to choose the product we're going to make based on the data we got from Etsy. And of course, we want to pay attention to the result with 21.8 thousand reviews, since it was the best in its category. But if we look closer at it, you can see this is a mega bundle with thousands of pieces in it. So it would make no sense to try to beat that on volume. So I'm just going to take the idea from it and niche down even more by creating 3 different packs. The first one will be with cute animals, the second one is going to be with only cats and dogs, and for the third one, I want to recreate those Disney characters. But because I can't legally copy them, I'm going to create my own. And just like this, we know exactly what we're going to build. So the secret is not to take the best performing product and simply copy it. The best approach is to take inspiration from multiple winning products and create your own profitable one. But even when you get the perfect idea, you still have to take a few more steps before you can actually sell it and make real money from it. So let's move on to the next and most important section of this video. We're going to take each idea and actually create the product using only AI. So for this, I'm going to be using OpenArt, which gives me access to all the image models and features I need. If you don't have an account yet, you can sign up using the link in the description down below. Once you're inside, this is the home page you'll see. For the first category, we'll go to the image creation section and select GPT Image 2 as our generator, because this is one of the best when it comes to the type of images we're about to create. And before I paste in any prompt, I'll set the output to a 1:1 aspect ratio, the resolution to 4K, and the quality to high so we get the best results. Then, for the prompt, there's one small trick that will save you a ton of time. So for our first category, we're going to create the animal stickers. And because there are 9 different ones to create, I'm going to write one baseline prompt, where the only thing that changes between animals is the actual species. The rest of the prompt is just instructions about the style I want and how the background should look. So for our first animal, which is a baby bunny, this is the prompt I'll paste in. And after generating, I get this result. It came out exactly as I wanted. It looks like one of those cute animals you see everywhere in kids' hospitals and kindergartens. They're extremely popular, even on candy. So it makes sense why so many people are buying these types of bundles. Now, I set in the prompt to create a white background with no shadows, because that will later let us strip the background and turn it into a sticker, which is exactly what the best-selling digital products do on Etsy. So let's now do it one more time, this time with a baby koala. This is the prompt I'll use, and again, after generation, I get this cute little animal. And the process is literally the same for the rest of them. Once you generate them and you're happy with the results, we want to create nice packaging for our product. And the most popular and honestly easiest way to do that is to create a simple panel with all the images generated up until now. So here's the prompt I'll be using. For this, I also need to press on the visual references inside OpenArt to add the characters I generated previously so the AI knows exactly what to include. Because if I don't do that, it will create different looking animals. And again, you can find this exact prompt in the workflow file I leave in the description for free. So let's see what we get. I really like this cover. It's simple and colorful, and that's exactly how to make the first product. But now that you know the process for it, the next one is going to be way easier and faster to make. For this one, I'm going to change the base prompt. Instead of what we've seen previously, I want a different style, one which feels a bit more realistic. If we go back to OpenArt, I'll paste this prompt to get the first cat. Again, the result looks really cute, and what I like about it is that GPT Image 2 really understands what we're asking for. With the same prompt, some of the other image models would have generated a real cat for us. We got the perfect result on the first try, which is really cool. The only problem with these is that they currently have a white background and a 1:1 aspect ratio instead of being a custom sticker, but I'll show you how to fix this important step later on. So these are the other cats and dogs I got. So let's upload them all as image references, and with this prompt, press enter to create that nice cover for our product. Well, it looks just like we wanted. We have the 3x3 grid. The only problem here is that it missed my last dog, so I only have 8 animals inside the cover, but it looks pretty good, and I'm leaving it like that. Now, do you remember when we talked about those main characters and said we can't legally reproduce them? Well, I'm going to show you exactly how I make my own characters, using a very similar method to what we did before. But there's one setting that, if it's not done right, can get you really bad results. But before I show you what it is, let's actually go ahead and create the character I want. And for that, I'm going to be using this prompt, which will basically create my original character. It looks unique and cute. So what I want to do with it right now is create multiple variations of it, but in different emotional states. For example, I want one where he's happy, one where he's angry, or even sad. But here's where the big change comes from what we've seen previously. Every generation depends on how my character looks initially. So the secret to keeping the same character across all the generations is to use this image I just created. For example, I want to create the laughed version of it. I'm going to add it here, and for the prompt, I'll paste in this. Now, I leave all the settings the same, and after a few seconds, I get this new generation. As you can see, we have the same character, but with a different facial expression. And this wouldn't have been possible if we hadn't referenced our character at the start. So now let me go ahead and create the next one, where I want it to be in love. I leave the image reference as it is and simply change the prompt to this one. And as a result, I get this cute character of mine in love, and I'll use pretty much the same process to create a few more of them. Here are all of them. And like we did with the last product, I want to create nice packaging for them. So I paste this prompt, which basically tells it to take all the reference images and create the cover art. But one of the important things here is to actually upload all the reference images, so it knows exactly what I mean in the prompt. Now this is what I get. It came out looking really good, and all the emotional states of my character are exactly as I described them. And just like this, you can create any other digital product you want. want, but that doesn't mean people will want to buy them. In order to do that, you need some marketing secrets, and one of the most powerful ones is to use animations. This grabs people's attention and makes everything more interesting. But how do you do that? In our case, it's actually very simple, because inside OpenArt, we also have access to all the popular video generators. If we go to the video section, I'll select Seedance 2 as the model. By the time you're watching this, Seedance 2.5 is already out, and it's raised the bar completely, so definitely give that a try instead. I'll set the resolution to 1080p, the duration to 12 seconds, the aspect ratio to 1:1, and very importantly, I'll turn off the audio because I'll add my own at the end. Now, for our first product with the animals, what we need to do first is add the image references with the characters, and also the cover we made with all of them. Then for the prompt, here's what I use. And again, you don't have to worry about understanding it in depth because I put it inside the free document below this video along with all the other prompts. So let's press generate and see what we get. And now we finally get something that would actually make people buy. We have all our characters animated and slightly moving, which makes them feel alive and, in my opinion, way cuter. And at the end, we show all the stickers they'll get. So I'm going to use a very similar prompt for the next products. For the cats and dogs, I'll paste this in, and for the reference images, I'll add some of the animals as well as the cover art. And while the video is generating, I'm going to create the other one using the same process. Now here's the result we get. They look perfect, and now we basically have all our products done. However, if we stop here, we won't make any money out of them because nobody can actually buy them yet. So let's go ahead and list them on Gumroad as a product people can actually buy. Now, you could also do this on Etsy, but it makes you add your bank details before you can even list, so I couldn't show you the whole process on camera. That's why I'm going with Gumroad. So let's create a new account by signing up. Now let's go ahead and upload our first product, the one with the cats and dogs. But there's still one problem with that. Do you remember when I told you we set the background to white, but we'd have to remove it later? Well, now's the time. So the easiest way to do that is to go to Pixel Cut Background Remover, upload each piece one by one, and download the new result. Once you do that, let's go back into Gumroad and start a new product. First, it'll ask what I'm creating, so I pick digital product, give it a name, and set a price. As you can see, there are 2 image slots. For the thumbnail, I'll upload the cover art we made, and for the cover, I'll upload the video we made. Then for the description, you can add things like how many pieces they get, the art style, or anything else you'd want. And the last thing is the settings. The defaults are honestly fine, but I switch on the refund policy because it's a small trick that makes first-time buyers trust you even more and actually pay. Then I simply hit publish. Now the cats and dogs product is live and anybody can buy it at any time. And I'll do the same with the rest of them. And just like this, we made our first digital product with AI. If you want to create your own, go sign up to OpenArt using the link in the description and download the free document to review all the steps. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.